Hello there. Today I'm going to talk to you about something important, finding a publisher. This is the first step to finding readers. Now, most towns of decent size these days have a small publisher that you can apply to, and they will show you everything that they do. Now, publishing like this is fairly expensive, so you need to have two things. One, a product, and I would suggest maybe 3 books ready to be published. And the other is some money laid aside for this. Now, I was lucky. I live in London, Ontario, and London, Ontario is the publisher of the London Free Press. Now, you know I read newspapers. The London Free Press brought out a special edition when they were going into digital publishing. Now, they were one of the larger groups in this area to do this. Digital publishing pretty much means publishing on demand. So they're a smaller group, but they can do a lot of things. And it turned out that they had a new division called Volumes, which was specifically for publishing people's work, be it poetry or illustrations or books of any kind. So I was immediately interested. They were local, they were well known, and I thought a lot better than going on the internet and making some kind of deal with people that I do not see. So that was a great start for me, and I got another start. I went to them, I arranged to have my first books published. And this is when you have to decide if you are going to be a publisher also. Because unless you are a person who has written a memoir, a family history, and you only want a few copies to give to family and friends, then you need to look for larger audiences. Now, I wanted that larger audience, I just wasn't sure how to get it. So I had to look around for some publicity. Now again, the London Free Press helped me because they produce a magazine once a week called The Londoner. And they were running a series at the time called Book Club, as you can see. Now, whenever I saw this, I thought, all right, I'm going to apply. So I wrote an application and told them that I was a new author in the area and told them my background and what I was writing and so on. And this marvelous article appeared in The Londoner. Now, you can get a lot of information into an article this size, and I did. And one of the things that I said was that I was willing to visit book clubs in the local area. So that was a phenomenal start to selling books. I also later had another article in the Londoner, and this again was helpful. You need to look around for places that are looking for articles written by you or by someone who works for that magazine or newspaper. There are always a few local papers around, and if you keep your eyes open, you can make use of these sources. So I was on my way. I had book copies. Now this is where you find out what the local publisher will do for you, because that's important. So with each of my books, and these illustrations are from my first series, the Prime Time series. With each book I received, I think it was maybe 100 of each of these bookmarks. Now, not only did they have a picture of that current cover series, they also had a breakdown of what the book was about. And it says at the bottom, to order your copy, visit www.volumesdirect.com. So people, if they found this somewhere, would know where to get another copy or the next part in the series and so on. So I had this as a piece of publicity that I could hand out, which was great. Also, with the bookmarks came about 500 of these little tiny sort of business cards, which actually are a little too small to be very useful, but I did use them for other things. So I had my copies of the books, and with the price that I paid for a book to be published, I received 20 copies. Now that's a considerable number, so I had the copies, I had the bookmarks, I had some publicity, and I had said I would go to book clubs to advertise. So I was on my way with all of this material. Now the book club thing turned out to be very interesting because many people are running book clubs and they never see an actual live author. So it was quite a novelty at the beginning, and I was quite pleased to go to all these places, all these houses where women gathered, and I would talk to them about my books and my series. Now, I also had another little business ploy. I offered 8 copies of my first book, Old Acquaintance, and I didn't charge for those. I kept that as a copy set. And I gave them to the book club readers ahead of time so they would know about the stories, they could read them, and I would present myself with the second book in the series and the third book in the series. This worked out quite well. So you have to have a publisher, you have to have materials, you have to have some kind of a plan, and then you're on your way to selling books. Now that's not the whole of the story. That's just the place where I began. Tell you more about that next time. Bye.